Hello. We're here in the Mexican American Studies Institute, or in our podcast room with Dr. Guzman. Welcome for our second
Thank you.
podcast. And first, would you introduce yourself and
Okay.
who you are?
Sure. So I'm Norma Guzman. I'm the current coordinator for the doctoral program in bilingual education, which has been at A&M Kingsville since 1975. It was actually the first doctoral program at A&I in 1975, and it was developed as an EDD program, which was actually the first EDD program in the state of Texas. So I'm the current coordinator since 2018.
Okay, well, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know
Okay.
that you and I are friends, so I know who
Right.
you are, but let our audience know,
Okay.
who you are, your career to higher ed, where you're from and stuff like that.
Sure. So I started my career as a school psychologist, a bilingual school psychologist. Got my undergrad at Texas State, my master's at UTRGV, or back then UTPA, in school psychology, and then I worked 10 years in the school districts before going back to academia at UTSA for my PhD in culture, literacy, and language. So at the time in 2008, 2009 is when I got the position here at A&M Kingsville. So I've been in higher ed since 2004 and at A&M Kingsville since 2009. So I started actually in the school districts, K-12, working as a bilingual school psychologist before coming into higher education.
So even more, a little further back, you're a first-gen student, right? You
Right,
attended
right.
San Marcos. Tell me a little bit about that, and then maybe how you came to bilingual ed.
Okay. So even before that, so I'm originally from Raymondville, Texas. So it is one of the smallest school districts in the valley, right down the street here on 77, down the street from Kingsville. So when I graduated high school, I went to Texas State. I was supposed to go with my friend Terry. She and I had applied together. We got accepted. She ended up not going, and so because she had some family things that came up she had to take care of, and so I went by myself, which was not something that Latinas normally do, leaving home, going 4 hours away from home to college. And so the first year I was there by myself, but I made friends from Corpus and from the valley, from Eagle Pass, Del Rio, all the places where the students were from at the dorm. The second year, my brother graduated from high school, and he went to Texas State. So he and I were there together the last 3 years that I was there. And then from there, I went directly into the master's in the Valley. So then I moved back to the Valley, went to UTRGV or UTPA for the master's, and then started my school psych career.
Wow, what a journey. And I guess, so let me back up a little bit. And why bilingual ed? I mean, you could have been education, you could have been sociology, psychology, you could have been a historian,
Right.
But why bilingual ed? I know that
Okay.
for many of us, Spanish was our first language, right? And we go to school and it's sort of, we know it, then we lose it, then we come back. And so why bilingual ed?
Okay, so as I was working as a school psychologist, I was actually being trained at UTRGV through the bilingual school psych program, which was starting back then. It was an early pioneering program because not everybody gets trained under bilingual assessment. And so as a bilingual assessment personnel, when I got into the school districts, those were the two areas where we were doing our work, either testing students for special ed, students that were bilingual, and in our case, mostly Spanish. And so when I wanted to go back to school, I actually wanted to do a master's in bilingual, but I was able to find the doctoral program that I could do bilingual and still use my background as a school psychologist. And so working with bilingual ed and special ed, you could see the inequities where students were being referred for special education, mostly because of language, or the teachers didn't understand how to work with the students in the schools. And so that sort of led me down the path for bilingual ed and being an advocate for students and families and communities.
Good. And so, before I get into the program, I know for me, and we have this conversation before. What's the difference between a PhD program and an EDD program? So we have a EDD program in bilingual ed, or do we have a PhD here?
It is an EDD. So,
Okay.
like I said, it was the first EDD in the state of Texas, which the description is more of a practical EDD or practical doctorate, so that it's for practitioners or those that want to apply research to their field or where they're working, their positions. And so I guess as I was going through some of the archival research, there was that little snippet that when they started the EDD here, it was the first of its kind, so they were setting it up, and so we sort of were the mold for EDDs in Texas. And I believe it was Dr. Benito Juarez or Benito that started the program. So we're going to work with one of the interns this semester in history to get some of that history into the archives or into a website somewhere here on campus.
Sure. What a fascinating story. I mean, the oldest program, the first program, right? And that's the first program in the country, correct?
For bilingual ed, yes. Yeah. For Texas, it was the first EDD, and for A&M Kingsville, it was the first doctoral program on campus.
Yeah. And you guys have done some amazing things. I mean, maybe you could tell us a little bit about the bilingual education, bilingual conference that you guys hosted for many years and we're starting to revive. And tell us a little bit about the kind of students that you're looking for and what they do when they graduate from here.
Okay. So, yes, so when I got here in 2009, A&M Kingsville had a history in bilingual ed with starting in 75, not only at the doctoral, but also starting the student groups at the undergrad. So I worked at all levels, undergrad, master's, and doctoral. And so the professors that set up the program and worked on it for many years really trained our what we would call bilingual giants in Texas and across, because we've had graduates from Mexico, from international countries in Europe, and also in Asia. So there was already a really program established before I got here, and they really trained individuals that were then going into many of the early pioneers were professors in universities like at A&M Corpus Christi, A&M International in Laredo, UTRGV, other places around Texas, and then, like I said, universities across in Mexico and Taiwan and China and other institutions. So they really were pioneers in the field that then were creating the next training of teachers in bilingual ed in Texas. Currently, our students come from all over. We've been online since about 2013, that we were approved as an online program in bilingual ed. And the students primarily that we have are coming from leadership roles in their campuses and their districts. Some are teachers and some are remain teachers, and others want to move into other roles, leadership roles, to help with training other teachers, being bilingual facilitators at their campus. Our graduates work, some of them work at TA, some of them work at different agencies that, like the Region Service Centers, that continue training teachers in bilingual, and now moving into dual language programs, which is what's kind of coming in is the increase in dual language programs across, not just in Texas, but across the U.S.
Yeah, what a history. I mean, I've seen some of the people that have come through here and that continue to come through here, and what they've done in the field, what they've done with just moving the needle on bilingual ed and thinking outside the box. Like you said, I think it's really important to recognize that many of the bilingual programs and professors that are out there had their roots in Kingsville. Universities like, International and CC and even UTRGV now have their roots in our school, And so, so maybe you could tell our potential students, what you offer and why this particular program, and you're the director, you've kept it going forward and done an amazing thing. But also maybe tell future students that might want to come here, why you think this program is what it is.
Yeah. So the students that are coming in right now, in the last 5 years that I've been coordinator, are really looking to increase their skills. Some of them are already bilingual directors. Some of them are principals or assistant principals. Some are working in community, like a community liaison role. Some of our current students come from Austin, Houston, Dallas area. So because it's online, we're able to encompass a large range of individuals. And so some of the other interests that our students have, some students are working on like newcomer centers or helping immigrant families that are coming in. So we're really anybody who's ready to take on a leadership role in their campus or their district in bilingual ed is, we encourage them to apply if they're interested in our program. And we come in, we take applications year round, but we get the most number of students starting in the fall semester.
Good. And maybe you can give them your contact information where they can contact you, an email.
Sure. So it's norma.guzman@tamuk.edu. That's my email address. Yeah, and I'll be happy to send information out. Also, I think I'd want to encourage any alumni to, we want to have their stories or their history or some archives of anything that they want to share with us, pictures, information related to their program, related to their time here. Last year, Dr. Tinajero with the Distinguished Alumni, I think they did an oral history with her. So we have slowly gathering as we're getting up to the 50 years in 2025 on bilingual ed at A&M Kingsville.
Well, you've done a great job. And I know, you don't take compliments well, but not only has Dr. Guzman been a leader in bilingual ed, she's been a leader for our Latinas and Latino students on campus, our Latinx students. I know since I walked here, you've been inspiration to me and many others, and also with the creation of Hispanic Faculty Council, you're taking a role. And I mean, we need people like you here, and we really appreciate what you've done for not only our university, but especially for our students of color. And I think, like you said, you've had students from everywhere, African students, Asian students, Mexican students from Monterrey and other places. And I don't know what else to say, but I'm so proud of you and so happy to be your friend. And I think that and it's a great asset to have you at this program, but not only this university.
Right. So, and we want to continue that legacy. It doesn't stop with us. It has to continue once we're no longer here. So, what we're trying to maintain and trying to ensure that it continues. And I know when I got here, I didn't know the history. So a lot of people that were teaching us all the way through, and we continue to learn about their program. But we do need to have a place where we can have a center and have places displayed that show our history here on campus. So, yeah, so that's important. So, yeah, and as I started actually working with undergrads, I think that's where my commitment really stepped in, because you have to really, the students look up to you, they do, and that's where taking the students to conferences, and even from the undergrad, masters, and now doctoral, we just had a conference in Laredo, and there's going to be the state bilingual conference, the national bilingual conference. And we do, at some point, like you said, want to bring back our bilingual conference here in Kingsville. So if we have the support, I think we can continue to do some of that work. So, yeah, thanks so much for having us. And we appreciate having the center here where we can bring alumni here, we can bring students here, we can bring others who are interested in learning about Mexican American studies, about bilingual ed, about our Southwest Borderland studies or ethnic studies, and having that collaborative space really is important.
Yeah. And please visit us here in Road Hall 312. And this is a collaborative space. I mean, everything you see here was donated, or somebody had a piece in it, and it's their space as much as it's the university space. It's also space for alumni or our faculty or staff. So thank you again, Dr. Guzman. Anything else you want to add?
Nope. We look forward to this Hispanic Heritage Month, and then at the end of the semester, we'll have our Stole ceremony again. So we want to just continue building on our what we have with our Hispanic Heritage Month and our ethnic studies programs.
Good. Thank you very much for dropping by.
Thanks.
Okay.